Hi, welcome back. I believe it's Monday. I don't know. I filmed these things a little bit early, right? But we're going to talk real quickly about chapter 16, give you a little background on that, and then I'm going to explain what you're going to be doing to cover the trial and To Kill a Mockingbird. Again, it's not going to be a summary. It's not going to be reading. It's actually going to be using the film version of it, the film version, which is black and white, but it's a classic, and I love it, and you will too, right? So anyway, we're gonna go through kind of how we've done this with other chapters as well. Then I'll talk about the assignment for today. So if you look at this, chapter 16, right? So summary. So everything that went on the night before, they had the lynch mob show up. It was, a very tense situation. So in the morning, Scout's still processing everything that happened at the jail. Atticus is really strangely calm considering what had gone on there. And he just kind of talks about how he's surprised that Mr. Underwood was, sort of had his back, considering that he's not really a friend of the Black community in Maycomb. And Alexandra says she doesn't really like how Atticus talks so casually, I guess, about that stuff around Calpurnia. And Atticus just flat out says, she's family. I talk around her the way I would talk around anyone else. Again, showing that respect that he has for Calpurnia, and that kind of recognizing how she is more than just, a maid or a nanny. She is part of their family, and she's helped them so much over the years, ever since his wife died. So regarding the mob the night before, Atticus does say that he doesn't really hold it against any of the men. He specifically talks about Mr. Cunningham, which we've seen his son, Walter Cunningham Jr. He came and ate lunch at their place back in chapter 3. We know that Atticus helped this Mr. Cunningham with an entailment early. They talked about it earlier in the book. He says, he's still a good person. He has flaws, like he has blind spots like everyone else. Everyone has their flaws, and he's not going to judge all those guys that he knows. Like, they're people from Maycomb, they're friends from Maycomb. He's not going to judge them based on one night of maybe poor decisions. So the kids are instructed to stay away from the courtroom that day because the trial is going to start. But of course they have to go because they're really curious about it, right? And I understand why. You understand why. That's all the town is talking about. And downtown Maycomb is absolutely packed. They are not practicing social distancing. Basically everyone has come into town because this has become sort of a type of entertainment. Like they don't have TV, but this is their show. This is the thing that they're going to be watching, and they're going to really be drawn in with. So you have people from the country, all the city folk, everyone are just sort of there. And it's a kind of a madhouse. The kids can't find any seats downstairs. Jem blames it on Scout because he said she took too long. Luckily, Reverend Sykes, that reverend from Calpurnia's church from a few chapters ago, he sees them and invites them to sit up in the colored balcony, which is where the Black community sits. Even the courtroom is segregated, where the white community sits downstairs, the Black community sits upstairs. But here we also see some of that respect because when he brings them up, some of the people who are already up there get up and give their seats to Jem, Dill, and Scout. Again, showing that respect for their family and for Atticus because of everything that Atticus is doing. And then it finally just sort of gives us an overview of everything. Scout takes in the courtroom, describing where everyone's sitting. She knows that the jury is pretty much made up of farmers, which is pretty common because a lot of the business owners in town wouldn't want to be on the jury because if they would pick a verdict that didn't agree with some other people, they might lose business. So the farmers are sort of the only ones who are like, they don't have anything to lose. So they would come in and do that. And that's it for chapter 16. The other thing that I want to show you is this is the assignment then that's going with it, because we're covering 16 through 21 today. That's the summary for 16. 17 through 21 covers the trial. So you'll see this document that you're going to have here, right up here, and I'll also post a link to it elsewhere. But this is the link to the movie, To Kill a Mockingbird from 1962. Stars Gregory Peck. It's awesome. You only need to watch from 1 hour and 8 minutes to 1 hour and 44 minutes. That's the trial, right? So kind of told you where you can go for that. What we want you to do is, what we're going to be looking at is we want you to kind of pay attention to what do we learn from each testimony. So when the witnesses go on the stand, we get Heck Tate, who's the sheriff, right? We saw him with the dog with Tim Johnson. His testimony starts at 1 hour, 9 minutes, and 20 seconds. What do we learn? What information does he give us about the case? Bob Ewell then, which starts at 1 hour, 11 minutes, and 50 seconds. What do we learn from him, or what information is brought out from there, either from Mr. Gilmer, who's defending the Ewells, or from Atticus? Mayella Ewell, who's the person who's saying that Tom Robinson raped her. What do we learn from her testimony, which starts at 1 hour, 15 minutes, and 38 seconds? And then finally, Tom Robinson's testimony, which is at 1 hour, 22 minutes, and 38 seconds. Then as you continue to watch through the end there, what do we learn in Atticus's closing argument? So he's not questioning any witnesses, but instead he's talking to the jury. What is his sort of big message, or what things is he really trying to point out in order to win this case? What is the verdict? And then what other significant events happen at the end of the scene? So after they hear the verdict, what things sort of stand out to you in the scene? Because it's pretty true to the book. There's a couple things that are edited out, but for the most part, it stays pretty accurate with it, right? So you're going to complete that. I get that it's maybe a little bit longer, but we're covering like 6 chapters today in a very sort of abbreviated version. So this is making it a little bit less work for you, but I do want you to sort of understand everything that went on with the trial itself, because then the rest of the book is going to deal with some of the fallout from that. Again, if you have any questions for that, let me know. And then otherwise we will talk about kind of what happens after the trial starting tomorrow. All right. So other than that, take care. I'll talk to you all real soon.